Hello everybody, I'm alpacapatrol, and this is AlpaQ&A. That's right, I'm back with another episode of AlpaQ&A. This is episode 3. It may well be 1 week late, I'm sorry. Bi-weekly series, man, I'm not going to be able to remember to do these properly. I should probably just record them, like, right afterwards. I don't know. But today is a very special episode of AlpaQ&A, because I am joined by my good friend Dennis. Dennis, why don't you say hello?
Say hello.
Well, yeah, well, you should have just said hello then, right? Because if I say hello,
it.
yeah, well, it was a good effort at the very least. So Dennis is going to be sort of my interviewer in a way. He's got all the questions from the chat that I picked out and the ones that were upvoted. And like I said at the end of these AlpaQ&As, upvote the questions that you like if you look through them. So yeah. Anyway, Dennis is going to read the questions. So why don't you just get started?
All right. So this one comes from Yippee-Ki-Yay. Rob, what is your favorite position? What is your position on the approaching llama invasion? Do you think alpacas are ready to take on this llamaist onslaught?
Well, you know, obviously the world is a dangerous place these days because of the llamas, and you know, there's really not much you can do about it except sit and wait and see what the Grand Alpaca Council will do about it. You know, I harbor no ill will towards the llamas, and you know, if they got to do what they got to do. They are an encroaching, oppressive force, but we will defend ourselves, and hopefully we will succeed.
Mm-hmm. Very insightful. Very insightful.
I'd say so, yeah.
This one's from Luanli198. Also, Rob, you sound like a very analytical person. So what's the hardest decision you've had to make in your life so far? What is the outcome? And how do you feel about it now, looking back?
I don't know. Hardest decision I've ever had to make. You've been around a lot of my life. What was the hardest decision I ever had to make? I don't think I made a lot of tough decisions in my life.
I think one of the most difficult decisions, or one of the decisions I'd say I give you the most credit for really making and sticking to, is making videos for YouTube. I think that move and the amount of hard work and the amount of perseverance it took to stick with it for this long and to ride it through all the down times, to ride it through all the up times, and to just do your best. I really think that was one of the most difficult decisions you've made.
You know, I guess you're probably right, just because I generally don't stick with things. Like, with a number of, like, commitment issues, I usually don't. So, I'm actually surprised as well that I've been doing this as long as I have. But it happens because viewers like you come and hang out and have a good time and hopefully enjoy the videos. It's amazing, like, this is gonna get probably around 2,000 viewers. That's amazing to me, that there's literally 2,000 people who are just gonna listen to me and Dennis talk. And also, good friends. I'm touching his nipples right now. I actually am.
It feels pretty
I
nice.
can feel the hair through your shirt.
Yeah, that's the point that it's gotten to.
Wow, you have a hairy chest. Yeah. That is hardcore.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's intense. There you go on with the next question, why don't you?
Alright, so the next question from Dr. Spoon99. Rob, I am the leader of the Spoons, and I would like to know how you feel about the Spoon and alpaca diplomacy. Well,
you know, spoons and alpacas go way back. Obviously. You know, you could look at the Spoon Priest event of the J. Smith OTI 52-hour stream, and well, that was a great moment in Spoon alpaca diplomacy. Honestly, like I said, I rely on the wisdom of the Grand Alpaca Council, and you know, hopefully they will make the right decision, and perhaps you guys can aid us against the encroaching threat of the llamas. We'll see. We'll see.
Very insightful.
I'd say so. Yeah, I'm an insightful man. You know.
The next question comes from Gogolplexbite. I ain't no vegetarian, but the interest in exotic meats...
You gotta have the whole accent going through from the very beginning sentence, because he starts with an accent, obviously, with the ain't no. So get it going.
I ain't no vegetarian, but the interest in exotic meats always seems odd to me. I mean, it's all meat. There's only so much variation in taste different meats can have, because they're fundamentally all protein-rich organ with a specific function. Now, exotic fruits and vegetables, that shit can be anything the fuck it wants.
That's true. You know, I didn't realize when I copied this that this wasn't a question. But I agree. Sort of. I mean, I don't know, like chicken and beef and pork, they all taste like way different. I suppose you could probably prepare them all and you can make them taste similar, but it has to do with texture as well, which also is kind of weird to think about, that like you'll have a different like I can only imagine what human tastes like, because it's got to have a different taste and texture than other animals, and that's weird that for some reason we've evolved in such a way that if you just add heat to something, it'll taste different. I don't know, strange world. Anyway, next question.
Certainly, very insightful.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the matter?
My immediate thought when I read this is that variety is the spice of life, and sometimes you got to eat some wild boar or some ostrich. Of course, can't eat any alpaca because that's not good.
Right? No, definitely not. Definitely not. You make a good point. That would be cannibalism.
Yes,
Yeah,
it would.
so-
It would.
Yeah.
So the next question comes from Bob X Rocks. Hola, Rob. ¿Qué idioma sabes?
Yes. Next question.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next question. Equals Love 1 asked this question. Have you ever thought of continuing or finishing the Don't Starve Let's Play? Also, why did you stop it? Or pause it?
Well, Don't Starve actually was kind of just... It ended up being a comedy of errors every episode. I saw, like, I would just mess something up horribly and get comments about something happening, and then I would just ruin things, and then I'd have to start from the very beginning again and start a whole thing, and I don't know, I just never went back to it. I probably will go back to it, and probably soon, since some series are coming to an end. Series? That's the right way to say it, I guess. So yeah, I mean that's why. Basically, I still like the game. I know they've added some things, so I probably will go back to it eventually. But I just ended up getting a little bit bored of it. I'll be honest, especially when like a lot of the comments were usually negative. So it's a little bit difficult as well. So next question, if you would.
Very insightful.
I'd say so. Have you ever played Don't Starve?
I have not.
It's a good game.
No, I have not. I heard it was a bit buggy when it first came out. Some people were having problems with save files.
Yes.
I remember that, right? I
Yes.
remember, like,
I never had that problem, but apparently that was a common issue. I don't think that that's a problem anymore, though.
Yeah.
It is released now, so
okay, so
that's
probably
good.
fixed.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So the next question comes from Zarkai Shin. Is there any game you really wish you could do a Let's Play of, but figured out you couldn't do for whatever reason? Like an RPG, or something due to being too long, or something in a similar niche to CK2, due to being too hard to record and explain properly, stuff like that.
There's a lot of games like that. There's a lot of games that I will be playing that I would like to... Oh, God. That I would like to... Sorry, there's, like, things happening. I'm getting phone calls myself, and now Dennis is getting phone calls. Hold on. He will go deal with that, and I will take over the question and answer section. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of games like that. There's a lot of games that just don't make for good Let's Plays. Like, I think racing games. I think a lot of games I don't know, it's hard. You base a channel around a specific idea, and people aren't so open to switching over to something, like, totally foreign to them. Like, say, CK2. I don't know if people of my channel that like Isaac would like CK2. I hope that there's a conversion rate, right? Like, I hope you guys watch videos because you want to hear me, and not necessarily the game, right? Like, that's my hope. But that isn't the case, right? There isn't a huge conversion rate in views from Isaac to anything else. But you guys watching AlpaQ&A, I'd imagine you are part of the converter group that would come hang out. I don't know, there's a couple things that I would do. Like, I don't know, perhaps I would think to do... Something I might want to do is Skyrim, but, there's so many Let's Plays of Skyrim on YouTube. Maybe even Minecraft. I might enjoy Minecraft. I never really played that game too much. But, there's so many Let's Plays of Minecraft on the internet. There's no reason to do it. So, I don't know. A couple things. I don't know. Freezenification asks, why haven't you talked to your dad in 4 years? Cry face. Well, let me take a moment. Sorry, I had to readjust my leg situation. So, I don't know. It's like... My dad was always kind of a D-bag to me, forever. Like, me and him never, ever got along. He divorced my mom when I was 2. And, so obviously I don't really care about the divorce. Like, I didn't ever see them together. I don't remember them being together, so it's not that. And I would just go over every weekend or every other weekend or something, and I don't know, it would just be a chore to go over. So because I would just go over, and then we would just argue, and it wouldn't be fun, and it just wasn't a good time. Me and him just don't get along. We're not similar people. Well, we're similar people. I think a lot of my rage comes from him, but he's a really angry guy, and hopefully I've tried to combat that a bit by being a little bit more down to earth and hopefully a little bit more happy. And also, he's like really really intensely religious now, too, which is really hypocritical because he wasn't earlier in life, but he found out that he had some sort of heart problem, so he decided to become religious. And I just remember thinking, like, dude, if you're gonna try to, okay, say God exists, right? This all-powerful, omnipotent being, and you do all the things, you sin all your life and all this stuff, and that's great. And then you find out you might die soon. And then you start praying to him and talking about how much you love him. I don't think you can pull one over on God. I feel like if God exists and he's some omnipotent, powerful, cloud man with a giant beard up in the sky, I feel like he would get that. I don't think you could probably fake it and just be like, oh yeah, totally loved you the whole day. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Basically, we don't get along, and he's kind of a D-bag, and honestly, I'm kind of lazy. He's tried to get back in contact with me, and I'm lazy, it's a whole thing. I mean, it's gonna be a whole deal to try to get in touch with him again, and I don't know, I'm just lazy, and I don't like dealing with emotions, and that would be that scenario, and I don't want to do that, so I don't know, that's probably why. But I know that I should, because he's my dad, and that's an important relationship to have in your life, surely, but I don't know. I just never really had it. Anyway, Poincall asks, can you fire a Kamehameha, considering you have no hands? Yes. Yes, I can. It's difficult, like anything that you do with hooves, but, I mean, if I can make a YouTube Let's Play channel with hooves, and do that well, and I can fire a Kamehameha with hooves. Alright? Cold Phoenix Z asks, have you considered to make a podcast just like We Need to Go Deeper with other people? Because I really miss the podcast, and you should do AlpaQ&A with a guest to answer the questions too. Well, Dennis was here. He's gone now. I don't know where he is, but that is something that I did today. If you just give me a moment, I need to ingest some water because I feel quite dehydrated. If you don't know, I've been recording videos water for hours because I'm going to Florida Wednesday, probably the Wednesday before this video goes up. So, I'll be in Florida right now as you're watching this, and I'm just going on vacation to visit my family down there, and my voice is getting a little messed up. To the actual question of doing a podcast, I would freaking love to. I would love to. I may get something like that working soon, where it's some sort of a individual podcast, maybe just centered around me and whatever guests I can get in the week or something. I don't know, maybe. I really like doing the podcast. It was a lot of fun. It's very difficult getting 5 people together at any given time. So that's a bit difficult, but maybe I'll do some sort of AlpaQ&A podcast or something like that in the future. We'll see. I don't know. I would love to. If you have any suggestions for how the podcast could work, please tell me. I probably would do it with live streaming too, I would guess. Anyway, next question. WWE Impact fan asks, could you and the NLSS crew do a charity live stream? I would love to. Honestly, that's one of my dreams for doing this YouTube thing, is if I can ever establish any kind of following large enough that I can have any kind of significant impact towards charity or just charitable endeavors, that's amazing. I would love to do that. That is, it honestly is one of my dreams to be able to do that. So if I could be a part of something like that, that would be great. Ryan did mention something about it a while ago. He's going to do a 24-hour charity live stream, which would be really cool. It's possible that might happen soon. I'll try to get in contact with him and see, because he definitely has the kind of following that he can, definitely support charity in some way. And it'd be cool. It'd be really cool. So I would love to do that. I have to find out what charities I like. I don't know. I mean, you guys could suggest some charities to me. But I don't know. I don't know. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I know that there are some out there that are really cool that I've seen before, and I've seen game charity things do. But currently, right now, I alone can't do it. I don't think we would get any kind of significant boon to charity. I mean, I could give, in theory, probably a reasonable amount of money, but not too much. I'm pretty poor. I'm a kind of a poor young lad, I'd say. But it'd be really cool. It'd be really, really cool. I fucking love that stuff. It's great. And it's amazing when people give back like that and do that, because that's really cool. And you know what's great about doing a charity live stream, too, is that I don't even get, like, the kind of benefits that, say, some rich guy would get, right? Because the benefits that you get for giving back is you get charitable whatever donations on your tax returns, and you pay less taxes every year if you give a certain amount of money to charities. But I wouldn't get that if I did some sort of charity live stream, because it would be you guys giving, and then you can do the charitable deductions on your taxes if you really wanted to, I suppose. But it's nice, So it's like totally a selfless act that would feel really good, and I would be totally happy about it, and it'd be awesome, and I would love to do that. So perhaps in the future. The Richney asks, Rob, do you read manga/watch anime? And if you do, what do you read/watch? Well, perhaps this will be inflammatory, not purposefully, but I don't really like anime. I really don't. Here's the problem. I honestly think that humor, a lot of animes focus on humor. There's a lot of comedy involved. But the thing is, the humor doesn't really translate well into English. It just doesn't. Like unless you're going straight slapstick, which translates into any language, humor doesn't translate. And that's not entirely the fault of the translators, it's not entirely the fault of the animators, or the creators of the products. It's also partially cultural humor. There is a difference in humor in different cultures. Like, for instance, South American, Latin American humor is very different from, like, say, North American humor. Even humor in England is different from humor in America. There is some crossover, sure. And, an American very much does enjoy British humor a lot of the times, but it's not for every American, and I would assume it's vice versa as well. There's kind of a lot of stupid slapstick humor in American television and movies as well, and we usually play, usually our lead character in American humor is this bumbling oaf who is very confident and is a scumbag, basically, like a guy who, like, talks back to authority, who's strong, stands up for himself, even though whether or not he's right or wrong, right? And then that leads to the humor. Whereas in British humor, for instance, usually the main character is also a bumbling oaf, which seems to be, a common thread towards throughout humor. But he's kind of a loser, usually. He's kind of a loser who doesn't really know how to get himself in the right situations and stuff. And things always go wrong for him. So, it's kind of, it's a different thing. There's a cultural difference to humor. So that's definitely a feature of it. So that's one thing. Although, I have liked some animes. Like, for instance, I really like Cowboy Bebop. That's a really good anime. Also, Akira or whatever. I don't like pronouncing things in, like, different names or whatever, like, in different accents, because I always feel silly. But anyway, Akira is really good. That's amazing. And they're actually, Chronicle, by the way, American film, found footage film, which I usually don't like those, but that was handled really well in that movie, is sort of loosely based on Akira, which is cool. So, and they were supposed to make a direct homage, not really an homage, but basically an adaptation of Akira in American films. And I believe Leonardo DiCaprio was set to play Tetsuo, but he's probably too old now. Probably not. He looks like a little kid. I don't know. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, you know, and also obviously Dragon Ball Z. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. I fucking love. I've watched every episode of that show like 5 times, 6 times. I've watched through the whole series. I own the whole series. I love Dragon Ball Z. I grew up with it. I love it. I know it's bad. It's the same thing with Godzilla. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and that's a secret, by the way, except for now it's not. But I'm a huge Godzilla fan. The thing is, there's a difference between what's good and what you like, right? That's how I feel about it. Is Dragon Ball Z is bad. It's not. It's not good. It's not a good show. It doesn't have particularly good story arcs. It's formulaic. There's a lot of problems with it, writing-wise. There's a lot of filler for a variety of reasons, one of which that they were making the show while Akira Toriyama was still writing the comic, so they had to add in the filler episodes because he didn't write the comic fast enough. So that's why you have a lot of those episodes where it's just like Vegeta being like for like 30 minutes because they just didn't have anything. Like there was no episode, there's no comic, but they had to put out a new episode because that's how it worked. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, it's not good, but I love it. Same with Godzilla. It's bad. It's real bad. Like like some of the worst movies ever made, but it's awesome and I love it. And so there's a difference between something that's good and something that you like. Definitely. And that's an important distinction to make in life. Next question. Bunnies with Knives asks, first question, what do you consider a perfect world to be, Rob? Don't go cliche on us, please. Perfect world? I don't know. A world without violence, probably. I don't know if that's cliche. Maybe it is. But honestly, a world without violence would be great, because then you really don't have to worry about anything else. I think, honestly, any problems in the world stem entirely from violence. Like, entirely. The only, like, the fear of reprisal for your actions is a violent act, right? Like, any kind of punishment is a violent act, right? And anything that you do that's really inherently wrong involves violence, right? Anything that doesn't really involve violence, if you're not hurting another person, then it's not that big of a deal, in my eyes, to do whatever it is you have to do, whether that law says one thing or another. So that would be my perfect world. What would be your perfect world, Dennis?
I think it's too explicit.
Mm-hmm.
Just too explicit.
So no pornos and no.
Just my perfect world, like society-wise.
Yeah.
I just want people to be good to each other, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such an overlooked thing. Like,
yeah.
You only get to, like, I mean, you meet so many people in your life that you're just instantly an asshole to, and it's like, just give everybody a chance. Like, start on the positive, and then if they mistreat you, then you can then you can get upset about it. But so many people start with suspicion, and never ever get to experience kind of being nice to each other. So.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
It's true. I said a world without violence. Also, speak up a bit.
World without violence is also very good.
I thought that every problem fundamentally starts with violence, stems with violence. Fear of reprisal from a punishment, violent act, so on and so forth.
Right.
Anyway, second question. What do you think of YouTubers who put out like 5 short videos a day just to get more views? I don't think you could do it with every channel. Like, for instance, if I did it, I don't think it would gain anything. And even if it did, it doesn't really foster a good community. So there's 2 situations that you could be in, right? You could do what I do and make content that I like to watch, which is half an hour long videos of games that are cool, or games that I enjoy and hopefully my audience enjoys. Or you could try your best to make as much money as possible on YouTube by making 5 short videos a day. And play games and enjoy yourself, and do it that way. But you foster kind of a shittier community because you're not really talking to them, I imagine. Because it's really difficult to do so. And also, the thing is, making 5 short videos a day, you kind of have to already have a following in order to do that. And if you do that, you're probably kind of insulting them a bit. So, I don't know. But I don't care. That's cool. Like people do it, and people still enjoy them. A lot of those channels are still very successful. So if people like the content, if there's an audience for it, sure, why not? I don't see a huge problem with it. And you can look at it this way. If that's like the kind of content that the only kind of content that you're able to consume in a day. You know, not everybody has an hour or a half an hour a day to just sit and watch a video or something, right? So if that's the kind of content you can consume, like a 15-minute video or a 10-minute video, and then move on and do something else, and other people can get enjoyment out of that, and hopefully enjoy themselves, then go for it. I don't really see a problem. I think there's an audience for everything, and if the audience is there, then I think it's cool. I don't have any problems with people doing that.
Very insightful. Very insightful.
I'd say so. Yeah.
So the next question comes from Cameron Steele. What YouTubers inspired you when you started out?
A couple people. Okay, so who I watched initially when I first started watching YouTube, and this is back before I even knew about Let's Plays and stuff. Well, the beginning of me even just watching videos of games in general was Speed Demos Archive, which is still a website, and they still do speedruns on there, and it's cool, and I watched a lot of speedruns because I liked watching games being played. I always liked watching games being played. When I was young, I used to play Zelda with my mom, and I just watch her play. So I always liked doing that. So I started with that, but I never knew about Let's Plays, and then I started watching Husky StarCraft because I got really into watching StarCraft 1 Brood War, and I would watch the SC2GG guys, and I'd watch, like, you know, Diggity and Moletrap and guys like them, who I think they're still around in the StarCraft scene, but I don't know what they're doing. The one guy who I really liked, the guy who I really liked watching, ended up just stopped doing. He abruptly ended, and I just stopped watching until Husky StarCraft started doing his beta coverage of StarCraft 2, and I watched him a lot. And I loved that. It was great. And I still do. I still watch StarCraft 2 casts from time to time. And then Isaac rolled around, and I started watching Northernlion, and I was basically introduced to this whole world of YouTube Let's Plays, and I thought it was a really cool idea, and I watched a ton of it, and I loved it. And then eventually I decided to do it because I thought, hey, you know, I've got a reasonably amicable personality. I've got a decent old bassy kind of voice. I think I could probably get away with doing this. So I tried it, and here I am, which is cool. So now there are loads of you watching me, which is great. And hopefully that's inspirational in a way towards your end of maybe doing it yourself. I would say if you feel the same way, do it. Try it out. Why not? And if it doesn't work out, or it doesn't work out the way that perhaps you intended. I mean, this didn't work out the way I intended. I didn't think that I was going to be where I am now. I didn't think I would be this far as I am. But, you know, I also didn't... I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I just... It's cool. It's great that I was inspired by these guys, and what's cool about it is I interact with Brian, like, every day now, Northernlion. Which is great. He's like literally, he's just a friend of mine now, which is really cool to have just started out just watching him and being a fan. And Husky StarCraft too. I've also interacted with him. I talk with him some from time to time, but not in the same manner as I do with Ryan. So it's really cool to be able to do that because I don't think there's not a lot of industries that you can do that, where you can just be a fan of someone and then, you know, a year later, even less than a year later, be friends with them and be working with them. It's really cool. So that's a good time.
Very insightful. Very insightful.
Do you watch any YouTube videos, Dennis?
I do on occasion. I watch a lot of educational stuff. For the most part.
Yeah, I would love to meet John Green. That'd be really cool.
Such a great thing. I watch a lot of educational stuff. From time to time, I'll tune into Let's Plays. I've moved over a lot to watching streams, so I'll watch you guys when you stream. I like doing that a lot. But yeah. I mean, overall, I think I started at the same point as you did, watching Northernlion, actually, and falling asleep to it pretty often. Just having it on in the evening and falling asleep to it. So I always thought it was a nice thing. Let's Playing was really cool, and obviously I gave it a shot, but, you know.
Decided to not.
By the way, youtube.com/
Definitely Dennis. Yeah. Go to Dennis's channel and subscribe.
Yeah.
He hasn't made videos in like 9 months or something like
close
that.
to a year now. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because we started around the same time, similar to So that's pretty funny.
So the next question, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
from Satchel Gashorn Bolware, are you a religious man?
No, I'm not. I kind of answered that earlier a little bit when I was talking about my dad being religious. Not a religious guy. I don't have any. Here's the difference, though. You can look at, like, say, our atheism on Reddit, and it's just a bunch of people being really, really rude to religious people, or not even just being rude, but just being giant assholes, and kind of proselytizing towards the lack of faith. I don't care. Like, if you're religious, that's cool, man. If you find truth in that, good for you. And I kind of envy you a bit. But me personally, I can't, so I don't. And it's really just a matter of that. Like, it's just honestly a logical extension of my series of thoughts and put together and realizations. But that's different per person, you know, that's different person to person, that varies. And if you're a religious person, good for you, seriously. Like, if you find truth in that, then sure, go for it. So I'm not really, I'm an atheist, but I'm not like, you should be an atheist too. It's like, man, do what you gotta do, whatever, I understand, you know. There are even a lot of situations where people need religion, and religion has an important purpose in history as well, so, you know, that's a thing. Anyway, you religious, Dennis?
Very insightful. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I'm not religious, but I think a bigot is a bigot regardless of what you believe in, and that's not a good thing.
Yep.
Whether or not you
Totally.
have a belief, there's I think the fine line between being an accepting good person and not. And I think that's one thing all religions have in common, is just to be accepting. So
Right.
whether or not you follow a religion, it's really that core principle, I think, that distinguishes people in my mind.
Definitely. I definitely agree.
So, next question is from Mr. Stee TV. With the advent of so-called cloud gaming, with the Sony and Microsoft acquiring game streaming sites like Gaikai, do you feel cloud-based gaming is the future? Or is it going to go back to the rumored cartridge-based gaming theorized in early 2012? Remember that? Thanks for reading. Peace.
Mr. Steve TV, yes, I do. I absolutely 100% do think cloud-based gaming is the future. When I saw on Live, I remember bringing it to you and saying, that is the future of gaming on Live, a service, by the way, same kind of thing, cloud-based gaming, where you buy a game and you play it through a stream. It runs through the internet and your inputs are relayed back to a server where it plays the game for you, kind of. The problem is, OnLive obviously failed. The problem with OnLive and the problem with services like that is you can't do it yet. Unfortunately, we don't have consistent enough internet connections. Maybe we never will. I think we will, though. I mean, if any kind of history is to be considered, and the amount of speed that we get over time and the consistency that we get over the course of many years, I mean, consider this. Like, the internet was invented in 1995. People started using it, like, fully in, like, 2001. And back then, you had 56K. Now, I'm running on, like, 30 megabit internet connection, which is absurdly faster than that, and that was only a few years ago. So we should have a consistent internet connection in the future. In that scenario, yeah, it will totally move to cloud-based gaming, and it'll probably be a good thing, because here's what happens. The cost of personal computers goes down enormously. Enormously. You can probably sell a computer for $100, because all it needs to do is it needs to be able to access the internet, and then you could stream all of your programs through that. That's great. That's good. People are a little bit put off by the fact that having a gaming PC... In fact, the only thing that I've ever heard of console gamers being like, I don't want to play PC games, is that, oh, I don't want to build a $2,000 gaming computer. People don't know that you don't have to do that to play games. You could play games on high settings on like a $500 computer, $600 computer. That's totally possible. By the way, reddit.com/r/build a PC, really good website if you want to build a game computer. But yeah, it is the future, and I see it going that way. I actually see consoles ending. I honestly predict that this is going to be the last console cycle, and I think that is the case. But in a way, I sort of think that it's going to be sort of a transition, in a way. Like, there's probably going to be like an Xbox tablet, like Xbox gaming PC, gaming laptop. That's all going to be cloud gaming. That you hook up to your TV or whatever, or it's just everything's going to kind of mold into one and merge into an entertainment system, as opposed to a separator like a console and a television and a cable box and a PC. It's all just going to be merged into an entertainment system in your house eventually. So I think that is the case, and it makes more sense. Less manufacturing power is needed as well. So it makes a lot of sense, but we need to have a consistent internet connection. So I honestly don't see it being the future or being the present until like 10 to 15 years from now, because honestly, we just don't. We don't have consistent enough internet connections, and that means even dropping or just spikes and drops in the internet connection and your speed. Just means that we don't have the infrastructure in place yet, but we may soon. I mean, I know Obama talked about using a new channel on radio waves to broadcast Wi-Fi. So if we do stuff like that in the future and implement more things to make the internet a more open and accessible place, then that probably is the future. Yeah?
Certainly. I'd certainly have to agree. I think you touched upon the truth there. Just as far as global deployment, I think global deployment of reliable internet has so much more utility than global deployment of consoles.
Yeah.
And that's really where I see streaming coming in, because we can afford a $600 PC, but people living on $1, $2 a day are not going to pick up a gaming PC. So certainly I think you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, you see the advent of like modern cinema and stuff, and even television, right? I mean, movies evolved over the course of 120, 130 years. Television over the course of 50, 60 years. And why did that take so long? It's because a lot of people couldn't afford TVs back in the day. Now they can. So as products become cheaper and cheaper and easier to maintain and easier to produce, you're going to see a wider audience in gaming. You're going to see a wider audience in basically every kind of entertainment medium. So, that's how it's going to be. Anyway.
Absolutely. Very insightful. Very insightful.
Mm-hmm.
El Jesus asks, would you be open to doing post-commentary?
Yes. Next question. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but I wouldn't. It doesn't work with everything. It depends. Like, if it's like a Dota game, say, sure. But like doing it on Isaac or something, it wouldn't really work. It wouldn't be fun, because I'd be like, it looks like I blew up a bomb to get that blue rock. That's interesting. And like you wouldn't be inside my head, which I think is part of the reason that Let's Plays are interesting, is because you're inside my head because I'm talking about what my decision-making process is. And I think people like that, and it's totally relatable, I think, is the idea. You look at like film and television, say, and you're always striving for relatable characters. Well, it's like total relatable. Like I'm just basically, a Let's Play is a soliloquy of a man playing a game, right? It's just a guy's internal monologue said out loud to viewers to get what he's trying to do. So, yeah, no.
Very insightful. Very insightful.
I'd say so.
That guy who exists asks, I'm a guy who's really big on the StarCrafts. Would you cast some of that shit?
I would like to, but the thing is, okay, maybe at a time in my life when I was watching so much StarCraft, I could have maybe casted it. The thing is, I never really played that much StarCraft. Like, I did when I was younger, but I never played it competitively. I always played the use map settings games. And StarCraft 2 in the same vein. I played the single player a lot, and I played, again, they're not use map settings games, they're just called custom games or something. Or arcade, I think. And I played those, and those are fun. But I never got into the competitive side of it, me personally. However, I did know the meta, and I knew what was happening. Like, I could tell what's happening in a game, and I probably could have cast it at a point. Now I'm so far away from the meta, because I haven't been watching a lot of Heart of the Swarm. I don't know what the meta is now. I'd have to, like, sit down and really enjoy myself watching what players are doing and things like that. I think my voice is suited towards casting things. And I think it might be okay, but honestly, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I think you need to be able to cast something in StarCraft. Dota, on the other hand, I played a lot. I played 1,100 hours in Dota, so that's why I feel comfortable casting that. And in fact, I was being urged to cast earlier in my Dota playing career when I was at like 400 hours, and even at that point I was like, I don't know enough. At 400 hours, I don't know enough. But now I feel pretty comfortable that I can do that. So that's a thing that I would do. StarCraft, I don't know. Maybe I would like attempt at casting some like really low-level Bronze League tournament or something like that. But I don't know. I probably just don't play enough StarCraft. Like if I were to go in and play competitive StarCraft, I'd probably be in Silver League. I think I'm better than Bronze League when I play it, but I'd probably be in Silver League, so that's not enough to cast. That said, I mean, Husky StarCraft only recently got into Masters. Like he's been Diamond the whole time that he's been casting. So obviously you don't have to be like a super duper amazing player at StarCraft to cast it, but a lot of the really, really successful people like Day9 say he basically is a competitive player. Like he kind of casts now only, but he used to be competitive. So I don't know. It's an esport that I love. I think Blizzard's doing a lot of things wrong with it though. So hopefully they fix that in the future, and maybe I'll think about it.
Very insightful. Very insightful.
Yeah.
So Shane Lee asks, Rob, do you eat your cereal with milk or a salty surprise?
I think the answer to that question is obvious. Next question.
Okay. User name.
Yeah.
Wow,
that is his name. Wow, yeah.
Okay. Took me a while to read.
Yeah.
Username asks, are you Italian? If not, what the fuck are you doing in New York?
That's like a winky cat face. Can cats wink? Probably not. I don't think they could. They probably couldn't wink if they wanted to, or maybe they could if they really tried. A cat could probably wink. Do you think that the one lid is independent of the other on a cat?
I'd imagine.
Right? Like it probably is possible.
Yeah.
Muscle-wise.
Yeah, it's just no reason for them to ever do that.
Right. Yeah. There's no reason for a human to do that either. I'm really bad at it actually. I'm bad at winking. Anyway, yes, I'm Italian. I'm half Italian, half Maltese. Malta is a tiny island off the coast of Sicily that actually is one of the smallest countries on Earth and has been owned by, like, every person in the region, so its culture is, like, super weird. Like, it's been owned by, Roman Italy, it's been owned by Sicily, it's been owned by Northern Africans, it's been owned by Spain, it's been owned by Arabians. So, like, the architecture is really weird there, and the culture is really strange because it's, like, all of the West, all of the weirdest parts of the West and all the weirdest parts of the Arabic nations all have owned it. So it's a really interesting thing. It's probably very similar to what it looks like in southern Spain, I would think, architecture-wise. So that's the two. Yes, I'm Italian and Maltese. Dennis, you're Russian? Just Russian, right?
Just Russian.
You're just straight up Russian.
There's no like mixing anywhere down the line. Like, my people basically got to Russia and just kind of stayed. And that's it. That was it.
Wow. All right.
They like the cold, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Russians in New York too.
Yeah.
A huge amount of Russians.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in New York. I think
there
Queens,
is, yeah.
Queens is the only place in the world where every single dialect of a language is spoken.
Really?
Yeah, think about how amazing that is.
Yeah, that's
every
pretty crazy.
Every single dialect of the world spoken in
Well,
one borough.
New York City is the capital of the world. I've said that before. I'll say it right now. Capital of the world. It's awesome. I love living here. It's great.
So, the next question
I
from
snapped for him.
Jeebus on a Rampage 2.
3. And
No,
it's
that's
just
the end of
Jeebus on a Rampage, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, obviously bad at reading.
Yeah.
Will you have my babies? If so, how many would you like?
Yes and 5.
How old are you?
22.
Alpacas are expected to live until 20 to 25 years old. Are you dead yet?
No, I am not dead, but I would. It's coming up. I'm soon to die here, evidently. Yeah. When I'm 25, I might be dead. But I am 22. Dennis, you're 23, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dennis was always a year older than me. Well, he's a year ahead of me in class anyway. So I think we're born in the same year though, right?
No, I was born a year before you.
Were you born in 90?
I was born in 90, yeah.
Oh, okay.
90, May 1st.
Oh, all right.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
Born on, what's that holiday?
Porno.
The point is, the holiday, all the Russians were drunk.
Mhm.
Doctors in the hospital were drunk. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I was a baby.
Oh, that's good.
Probably drunk.
Yeah, I would guess.
Probably.
Yeah, my mom smoked while she was pregnant with me.
Yeah. Well,
That's not good for babies.
Yeah, I mean, it shows them life.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
All right, Reebok 1984. Well, I spilled my cream soda on my bed and thought of this question. What's your favorite pop soda? And what you, the public, generally call it in New York City?
I like ginger ale. Ginger ale is probably my favorite type of soda. And it's called soda. I don't care what people call it anywhere else. That's what it's called. It's not called pop. Not called pop. Do you agree?
Yeah, pop is music.
Yeah, exactly. Pop is a type of music. There ain't no such thing as pop. It's soda, all right. And I like ginger ale. Ginger ale is probably my favorite type of I don't know, carbonated syrup water.
Syrup water, nice.
Like carbonated syrup water. What about you?
I like beer.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it is in a way. I mean, it's carbonated beverage. It's
Yeah.
probably pretty close to being soda.
But if it had to be traditional soda, I'd have to say orange soda.
Orange? Yeah, I like
All
orange soda
brands of
too.
Orange soda, just so much sugar. It's
Yeah. See, that's the thing about orange soda. I really like cream soda too, which is also has a lot of sugar. But I used to get, when I was in Potsdam, in my college, my first year of college in upstate New York, they had this place that had these like really fancy glass bottles of cream soda, and it was the most delicious thing ever. Like, it was so good. So
Something about soda out of a glass bottle.
I know.
It just touches
it's
the heart.
classy.
It really does.
It's just really classy, and I would eat it with like these really intense sandwiches that were made on like baguette and like really good breads and stuff. I miss that place. That was a really good place to eat. They only had sandwiches, but it was good. It was good. They had some really good sandwiches. So that was a good time.
Next question. From Always Sunny 101, what do you think of Tobuscus?
Yeah, that's how you... Tobuscus. What do you think of Tobuscus? I like him. I actually do like him. I don't watch him. I'll be honest. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos anymore, honestly, which is kind of weird to say. But I like him. I find him funny. I actually do. I really do. I find him to be funny. I watched a little bit of Toby Games back in the day when I was first getting into Let's Plays, like I said, because I looked at who the most popular one was. But I didn't like the 10-minute videos. I didn't like watching 10 or 15-minute videos. So I didn't watch. I had fun watching them. He's a funny guy. But you know, it's sort of why I make 30-minute videos, because I make the content that I like to watch. And what I like to watch is like 30-minute to an hour-long videos. So, you know, that's my goal when I make a video, and I try to meet it. And I like it. So, I don't know. I like him. He's a funny guy. He's got a lot of things going on in his life. He's a smart man. Here's something that, like, maybe a lot of people, I don't know if there are, but there probably are a lot of haters towards Tobuscus. That'll just come when you have a lot of a following, or a huge following. That guy is really smart. He is a very good marketer. He does a really good job marketing himself, and he always has. He has known what he wanted to do. He had a goal when he did the YouTube thing, and he achieved it, and he did exactly what he set out to do with exactly his plan. That's something to be respected, absolutely. You know, some people could say maybe it's scummy, the kinds of things that he did, you know, making like 15-minute YouTube videos, like we were talking about earlier with the section of 5 YouTube videos a day to make the most money, and, you know, stuff like that, or plugging yourself on different things, like doing events or something. Maybe some people would consider that scummy, or selling out, maybe, I don't know. But the truth is, the man did what he set out to do, and he did it well, and he's one of the most popular people on YouTube now. So, you know, he's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing, and he plays the fool. He plays an idiot, right? And that's sort of part of the persona, right? I mean, that part of the persona is to play an idiot, but he knows what he's doing, and he's a smart guy. He knows how to. I've actually watched talks with him, interviews when I was first starting out, about how to, you know, make it on YouTube, or different ways that he abused search rankings and stuff like that, or gained more views. Like, one thing that he did was, one of his most popular series, and one of the things that got him really famous was he did those songs, or like he would write songs to movie trailers, right? And write, you know, lyrics to them, basically. And he said when I watched an interview with him that he did that because he knew that people are going to be looking up the trailers anyway, right? So already there's going to be a huge amount of search traffic in that area of YouTube. So why not make something there, and you will have established yourself a place already. You're in a place where people are already searching. That's a smart idea. It really is. Thinking like that is what made him very popular, and it obviously helps that he's a good personality and he's a funny guy. That's always important. So you could call him scummy, you could call him a sellout, you could call him shitty for doing things like that, say, or like just looking at where the traffic is and making stuff based on that. But I call that being, having ingenuity, really. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Very insightful.
Yeah, this is very insightful.
So we're gonna be at the second to last question here.
Actually, I think we're at the last question.
I have a personal question afterwards.
All right.
Interviewer's question.
I see. All right.
So this one's from Visit Abyss. Is there a specific link, site, we can send fan art to?
That's actually we cab send fan art to.
Right, we cab send fan art to. Sorry.
Visit Abyss. I'm just kidding. Yes, you can send it to my Twitter. If you send it to my, I don't know. Twitter, a lot of times Twitter's weird and I don't get all of the messages. I don't know what the deal is with that. But I mean, you just spam me with it basically. I don't mind. So like if you send it to my Twitter, if I don't respond, you can send it again. You could send it to my Facebook page, facebook.com/alpacapatrol. I don't view that one as often, but I actually got a lot of fan arts there, and it's really cool there because it's really easy to see. So you can send it there. I wouldn't suggest sending it in a YouTube personal message because YouTube's inbox is really, really awful, and there's no way for me to read messages there. But yeah, Twitter, Facebook, those two are really probably the best outlets for you to send fan art to. And I fucking hate calling it fan art. How about fam art? Family art. Art from the family. That sounds good. That sounds better. So yeah, send it all over the place. I love it. I really, really love it. It's the most amazing thing ever. I'm so blessed to be able to get that stuff. So I feel really good when I see anything like that. So if you send me anything, I will be super pumped, and you will have made my day. And that's a glorious, glorious thing. So thank you for that. Anyone who's done it and everyone who plans to do it, I love you. You're beautiful people. Yeah.
All right, so here for our final question. I've sat here and I've interviewed you at the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you most of the way through with this interview, and my name is definitely Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you.
Mm.
Alpaca Patrol, why are you so awesome?
It has to do with my enormous penis. That's pretty much the main source of my awesomeness. Is I just have it's out the door right now. It's hanging below me and it's wrapped around like an anaconda, just out the door, 50 feet long. It's dangerous a bit, but it gives me the high levels of testosterone that I need in order to produce this level of awesomeness. Really. So that's generally it.
Thank you.
What about yourself?
I think you're pretty awesome.
Oh, I didn't really mean that. I meant like what makes you awesome. All right, very good. So this has been AlpaQ&A, episode 3. Thank you, Dennis, for joining me.
Yes.
Do you have maybe anything that you want to actually like pimp here?
Yeah, actually, I stream regularly now on twitch.tv/currentlydancingcam. Cameron's Twitch, actually. But we do a lot of Dota commentary. Recently started working with the league for actual tournaments, so slowly and surely working our way up there. So if you guys like watching some Dota commentary, definitely tune in. I know Austin does the same thing, so definitely check him out as well. But Dota commentary is really where I'm moving now. Cool.
So I'll try to provide the links in the description if Dennis reminds me when I'm uploading this, so that you guys can go check that out. They do it all the time. So if you actually like watching Dota casts, go there. Dennis casts Dota now. He doesn't upload it to YouTube, like he should. By the way, yeah, you should. So yeah, that's a thing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Post your questions. I was gonna say challenge runs. That would be dumb. Questions down below, and I'll do the most upvoted ones, and also the ones that I like. So just to get a reasonably long video out. And hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully you guys are liking the Crusader Kings too, because I think that should be coming out today as well. So yeah. Anyway, love you guys. You're beautiful people. thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me, Dennis. It was a good time. Do you want to say goodbye to these fine folks at home?
Goodbye, fine folks at home.
There you go. Yeah, AlpaQ&A probably coming out in 2 weeks. Maybe coming out in 3 weeks. Because I forget things. Although, like, when this comes out... No, I'll be back. I guess I'll be back, like, the week after I come back will be the next AlpaQ&A. So, that should happen. Because it's a bi-weekly series, right? Yay! Hearts. Hearts for you all. Post your questions down below. I'll do the most upvoted ones and the ones that I like. And you'll probably get on here and I'll answer your questions, and it'll be great, and it'll be a wonderful time, and we'll hang out, and maybe I'll do some stuff with podcasts and stuff in the future. Who knows? Who knows what will be happening in the future? Anyway, this is AlpacaPatrol signing out.